Well, hello everyone. We're joining you for another Facebook Live, and today is a very special day because we are going to be bringing you an update on the GOES-R satellite launch, now named GOES-16. Many of you may have watched this launch that occurred just before Thanksgiving, and you know, it was just an incredible launch that so many of us got to watch from Cape Canaveral. And now just to see some of those images pouring in, we wanted to show them to you in case you hadn't seen the first high resolution images. The point of all of this is that it is going to be revolutionary for so many industries. I mean, this goes so far beyond the help that it is to the meteorological industry in general. It just goes so much further beyond that. But I don't want to be the one that gushes on about it. I'm going to let the GOES-R Series Program Acting System Program Director, Mike Stringer, go into a lot more detail. So thank you so much, Michael, for being willing to join us today and bring us an update on GOES-16. We really appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here and discuss the program with you, and we are just so excited about GOES-16 images that are coming in and how well the satellite's been testing out so far.
It's just been incredible. I mean, you know, we went back to the launch back in November, and it literally launched at the last possible minutes of the window, and it was so successful. And I know you were among the people that were just jumping up and down in the room and just could not wait. You know, I mean, to see some of those images coming back was probably as good as Christmas Day to you.
Yes, it was. To get off at the last minute was a real nail biter for us. You know, we were had that shorter launch window than we would normally have due to the holiday season and the FAA putting the restriction to a 1-hour launch window. And when we heard the control center come over and say that the new launch time was 6:42, we all gasped because we knew that was the last possible minute that we could get off. But you could see there where the launch happened, it was spectacular. It went flawlessly. The solids separated well, the fairing came off well, and then we were even able to see the satellite for its last time being seen as it separated from the upper stage. ULA had cameras on the Centaur, and we could see the images of the satellite as it separated. So that's the last time we were able to see it.
It just was absolutely incredible. I want to let you know that we're getting joined by a lot of people from all across the country, people joining us from Canada and saying hello, and they're excited about this and talking about just the resolution quality on the images. Is it everything that you hope for and more?
Yes, very much so. These first set of images, we took one full day, and then the different zoom-ins that you're seeing are not our mesoscale where we can focus in on that area. It's just taking the raw images and being able to process and look closely at those different sections. By doing that, I'm an aerospace engineer. I'm not a meteorologist, but I can see things like there's a fire that we saw in Mexico. In the Northeast, we were able to see melting snow in New York area around Long Island. And it's just, I was amazed to see that we could see that much detail in just these first sets of images. So we haven't even deployed some of the advanced techniques for improving the stability and quality, and it's already amazing.
And it's still being positioned too, because it's actually going to have a planned location that gets determined in the next few months as well, right?
Correct. We're going to decide the location in May based on the health of the constellation. We have 3 satellites that are up there now. The Legacy goes 13, 14, and 15. GOES-16 will be decided in May where it's going to go, and then in November it'll move to either that east or west location.
And then we'll move on in the spring of 2018, so a year from then, and we'll be looking at the launch of GOES-S. And so then that will go in that opposite location, so to get even more amazing data.
Correct. And at that time, then of course, S will then, once it's operational, become GOES 17, and then the primary satellites will be 16 and 17, the new capability covering the full hemisphere.
What imagery were you most excited to see? You talked about the differentiation and being able to see fires. Were you more excited about observing snowfall, or are you looking forward to what we find out in hurricane season? I'm just curious because I know it's all personal preference.
Well, for me right now, just this first set was the fire and the snow, and just when we weren't trying to look for any of that in particular. It was what could we see from this first day's loop worth of imagery, and to be able to see the snow melting and the fire burning was just amazing. We will have eventually products which will help to determine the snowfall in the area, as well as detect fires using the heat signatures. Where we saw the fire there was simply the smoke coming off of the fire.
It's amazing. And then, to be able to differentiate snow from clouds is huge. I don't know if you're able to put into simplistic terms some kind of analogy, and I know this is a little on the spot, to compare, what we've been using up until this point to what will be used with the launch of this technology.
So the way we like to describe the ABI is that it's 3 times more spectrum, or more different bands of colors and ultraviolet and near ultraviolet that it can see compared to the current. The current ones only have 5 bands. GOES 16 has 16 bands. It's 4 times more resolution, so it can see much clearer images than the current GOES, and it's 5 times faster. Today, the ABI, or the imager on the Legacy, can do the entire disk in about 30 minutes. Or we can focus in and do a mesoscale 1,000 by 1,000 kilometers about every minute. But it's one or the other. We really can't interleave and do those all together. In GOES 16, or with GOES 16 in the ABI, we can do 15-minute images of the entire disk, or the entire Western Hemisphere, while also doing 5-minute images of the continental US, and up to 30-second images of a given storm, or cover 2 storms every minute. That's just a real leap in our ability to be able to cover what's happening now. With demoed at the different proving grounds to the meteorologists, they've come back and said it's like watching what's going on now compared to the current systems, which kind of give them what has happened.
And just to be able to see so many more smaller features going forward from here is obviously going to be huge. So what is coming up next for you guys? Clearly, it's been just a long time in the making, and now, of course, going forward, what do you have to tackle going forward?
So for GOES 16, we still have many months of post-launch testing to do. So we've released our first data for the magnetometer. We've released the first images from ABI, and recently we posted our first data from the EXIS, getting the solar flux data and detecting some solar bursts and that. But we also have an ultraviolet imager looking at the sun. So we're taking video images of the sun and looking at the sunspots and the solar flares that are happening on the sun. We also have detectors around the satellite. The magnetometer is one of them, but then we also have proton and electron detectors that'll give us that space environment of what's happening right there around the satellite.
Oh, wow. Thank you. It's been just amazing to get so much more inside detail. So guys, we've been talking with Michael Stringer. He is the Acting System Program Director for GOES-R, and we really appreciate him taking on a few minutes of out of his day and his time to. I know it's exciting for you because you're just talking about your baby, but
right.
we really appreciate it. So we've been talking about and showing alongside while we're on this Facebook Live some of the detailed images and information that we've seen thus far. Obviously, there's going to be so many more amazing benefits from this. I understand too that this will actually help possibly to improve rescue operations because it'll be able to detect distress signals. Could you tell us any more about that?
Sure. There are a couple other features on the satellite. For the rescue, we have a transponder that will allow us to pick up aircraft beacons from a downed aircraft, or if a boater has the beacons on their boat and they capsize and the water activates the beacon, we can relay that information to rescuers. There's also small handheld transmitters and beacons that are about the size of a pager that someone can take with them, and if they're injured while hiking, they can set off the beacon and get assistance.
That is incredible.
And the other thing the system can do is it relays a lot of information from buoys and river gauges for helping alert about floods if rivers are showing flood levels, and that kind of information is also relayed through the satellite.
It's just going to be incredible, and I think we're going to obviously look back at this probably, I would say, within less than a year's time and go, how did we ever do anything without this?
Right.
I think we're going to quickly realize how spoiled we are in some ways.
And then so the other things that we have going on is we are building 4 satellites. So S is completely built. It's done its first part of its mechanical testing, and it's getting ready to go into the thermal vac chamber where it'll go through thermal cycles and it'll go through vacuum so that it'll get that simulation of being in space for more testing.
Oh my gosh. And I think, people have an idea of what this is going to do in terms of various forecasting, hurricane tracking, the intensity of forecast, tornado warning lead time, but this is obviously huge for the aviation industry, long-term climate studies. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on.
Right. One thing I didn't mention yet is that we have another new instrument, the geostationary lightning mapper. So from geostationary orbit, we'll be looking at the hemisphere, detecting all the lightning flashes. And so this will give us not only the cloud to ground lightning that a lot of time is picked up with the radar systems and that, but we'll also get the cloud to cloud lightning. And so it's that total lightning count that really helps. And the scientists are believing they can get a better lead time on the severe storms from that.
That'll be really interesting to see the lightning count comparison, from one piece of technology to the next. So that could be, I'm excited about that. That's going to be very interesting to see. Well, Michael, we know that you have to get back to all of your duties, and we just wanted to say thank you so much for filling us in. We would love to talk to you again as we continue to get these amazing high-resolution images in from you guys, and it's just really wonderful to be able to share the updates, so thank you.
You're welcome, and would love to come back and talk more about it. We're just so excited.
And you should be. So guys, this has been another Facebook Live. We really appreciate you tuning in to learn more about this. It's just always so fun to, be able to just have a conversation about amazing things going on for America. And this is obviously revolutionary. So we're really excited that you took a few moments out of your day to join us. And Michael, we are definitely going to take you up on having you back. So